weekly news rundown.
Political tides are shifting in the Philippines as President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. signals openness to reconciling with the Duterte family, following a surprising turn in Senate elections. Meanwhile, Vice President Sara Duterte faces a pivotal impeachment trial, with high-stakes consequences for her political future. The unfolding developments could reshape the nation's leadership landscape. Former President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive, hormone-sensitive prostate cancer that has spread to his bones. With a high Gleason score of 9, experts emphasize that while the disease is severe, advanced treatments offer hope for management. This report examines medical insights, expert analysis, and the broader implications of Biden's condition. Former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert's sharp condemnation of ongoing military actions, calling them close to a war crime, fuels a deepening political divide. Meanwhile, a dire warning from the UN highlights the worsening humanitarian crisis in Gaza, where 14,000 infants face life-threatening conditions. Global leaders, including U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Pope Leo XIV, weigh in as urgent relief efforts take shape. A devastating plane crash shook San Diego's Murphy Canyon as a Cessna 550 slammed into a military housing community, igniting intense flames and a hazardous fuel spill. Emergency responders rushed to the scene, where 10 homes and dozens of vehicles were destroyed. Nearly 100 residents were evacuated, with officials confirming no civilian fatalities. North Korea's ambitious naval expansion suffers a major setback as its second destroyer fails to launch properly, leaving the 5,000-ton warship partially submerged. Satellite images challenge official claims of minor damage, with experts warning of severe structural issues.
You're tuned in to World Bulletin for the weekly news. Here's something interesting. Did you know honey never spoils? Believe it or not, honey found in ancient Egyptian tombs is still perfectly edible. Its natural properties make it last forever. Now, let's get into the rundown.
Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has signaled his willingness to mend fences with the Duterte family, marking a potential thaw in one of the nation's most fractious political alliances. Speaking on a podcast shared via his Facebook page on Monday, Marcos stated that, in the remaining 3 years of his 6-year term, his foremost priority is achieving stability and unity to ensure his administration can effectively implement its agenda. Yes, Marcos affirmed when asked if he would be open to reconciliation with the Dutertes after a very public falling out had severed the alliance that once propelled both administrations to victory in 2022. What I am after is stability, so that we can do our jobs. That is why I am always open to things like that, he explained, emphasizing that his current focus is on bridging divides rather than stoking further conflict. He added that he prefers to have friends and allies rather than enemies, a remark that resonates amid emerging political developments. This call for reconciliation follows a fiercely contested Senate race in which allies of Vice President Sara Duterte outperformed expectations, deepening the rift between the president and the Duterte camp. Notably, the vice president now faces a Senate impeachment trial that could result in her removal from office and permanently bar her from serving in public office, effectively ending any presidential bid in 2028. Meanwhile, her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, secured a mayoral win in Davao City last week, despite being detained at the International Criminal Court on charges of crimes against humanity. Marcos has deliberately distanced himself from the impeachment process, stating that there is a process for that. Let's allow the process to take its course. His openness to reconciliation may provide the stability needed for his government to function efficiently. As political tensions persist, all eyes turn to the Senate, whose upcoming deliberations could reshape the country's future. Marcos's remarks underscore his determination to pursue a unified path forward despite internal dissent. With the political landscape in flux, his call for reconciliation aims to foster a cooperative environment for the nation's governance. Today,
in health news, former U.S. President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer that has spread to his bones, his office announced Sunday. Despite the severity of the disease, doctors say the cancer is hormone-sensitive, allowing for effective management. Biden, 82, is currently reviewing treatment options with his medical team. Prostate cancer is the second most common cancer among men in the U.S., with an estimated 313,780 new cases expected in 2025. While the disease has a 5-year survival rate of 97% when detected early, that number drops to 37% when it spreads beyond the prostate. Biden's cancer has been classified with a Gleason score of 9, indicating a highly aggressive form. Dr. Ben Davies, professor of urology at the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine, described Biden's diagnosis as one of the most severe forms of prostate cancer. However, he noted that several treatment options remain available, including hormone therapy to suppress testosterone, chemotherapy, and radiation therapy. It's not all doom and gloom, Davies said, adding that Biden could live another decade with proper treatment. Biden's age does not necessarily limit his treatment options, according to experts. While some medications may increase frailty, his overall physiology will determine how well he responds to therapy. His diagnosis comes amid ongoing scrutiny of his health, which played a role in his decision to withdraw from the 2024 presidential race. In his first public statement since the announcement, Biden expressed gratitude for the support he has received. "Cancer touches us all," he wrote on social media, sharing a photo with his wife, Jill Biden. The American Cancer Society warns that prostate cancer cases have been rising by 3% annually since 2014, with late-stage diagnoses becoming more common. Biden has long championed cancer research, leading the Cancer Moonshot initiative to accelerate advancements in treatment. However, recent funding cuts under the Trump administration have raised concerns about the future of cancer research. As Biden prepares for treatment, experts emphasize the importance of early screening and continued investment in medical research to combat prostate cancer and improve survival rates.
Former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert has condemned his country's military actions in Gaza, calling them very close to a war crime. In a recent interview with the BBC, Olmert emphasized that while Israel targets Hamas, it must not engage in operations that harm innocent civilians. He declared that the current strategy is without purpose, underscoring a dangerous departure from ethical warfare. The criticism has come amid internal dissent. Yair Golan, leader of the Israeli Democrats, lambasted Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government for waging a conflict that, he argued, is attacking civilians and even killing babies as a hobby. Netanyahu fired back on social media, accusing Golan and his allies of resorting to anti-Semitic tropes while misrepresenting Israel's defensive measures. He stressed that the country is pursuing a multi-front war to liberate hostages and eliminate Hamas. Humanitarian alarm bells have also been raised. UN humanitarian chief Tom Fletcher warned that without urgent nutritional and medical aid, up to 14,000 infants in Gaza could perish within 48 hours. Although 93 aid trucks have breached an 11-week blockade to enter the Gaza Strip, the supplies remain stalled on the Palestinian side, with distribution yet to begin. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio acknowledged the resumption of aid flow but admitted that the volume remains woefully inadequate. International calls for relief continue to grow. At St. Peter's Square, Pope Leo XIV urged Israel to permit additional humanitarian assistance, stressing that the cost of conflict is borne by children, the elderly, and the sick. Meanwhile, the United Arab Emirates secured an agreement to provide essential food, bakery supplies, and infant care items for approximately 15,000 civilians. Local struggles persist as soaring prices and constant airstrikes have crippled community kitchens in areas like Deir al-Bala, where residents face dire shortages. The world watches as history judges the unfolding crisis in Gaza. As this crisis deepens, the international community remains watchful and vocal. With debates over ethics and accountability intensifying, every development is a stark reminder of the human toll and political complexities shaping the future of the region amid conflict, while demanding urgent reform. Early Thursday morning, a small private plane crashed into a military housing community in San Diego's Murphy Canyon area, leaving behind a gigantic debris field, intense flames, and a dangerous fuel spill. The accident forced almost 100 residents to evacuate, while authorities confirmed that no residents were killed. The only known fatalities are among the plane's occupants, with at least 2 victims identified. The aircraft, a Cessna 550 built in 1985 and operated by an Alaskan company, was on a scheduled flight from Teterboro Airport in New Jersey to Montgomery-Gibbs Executive Airport. After a brief stopover in Wichita, Kansas, the plane was nearing its destination when the pilot announced he was 3 miles from runway 28. No distress call was issued during the final moments, and the crash was reported at 3:47 a.m. San Diego Fire Rescue Assistant Chief Dan Eddy described the scene as chaotic when emergency crews arrived. He reported that multiple homes and dozens of vehicles were engulfed in flames. At least 10 homes were completely destroyed, and an entire block of cars was mangled beyond recognition. Eyewitness footage captured a massive hole in the side of a single-family home, with streets littered with blackened debris and flattened vehicles. Medical responders transported 1 resident to the hospital after evacuation and provided on-site care for 2 other individuals who sustained minor injuries. San Diego Police Chief Scott Wall lauded the efforts of first responders as heroic, amid challenges posed by leaking jet fuel and ongoing fires. The community remains a hazardous zone as officials close off the area for further investigation and extensive cleanup. The National Transportation Safety Board and the Federal Aviation Administration have launched a joint investigation into the cause of the accident. As cleanup efforts continue, local authorities are meticulously piecing together the sequence of events that resulted in this tragic incident. This devastating crash, occurring in a densely populated area, underscores the alarming potential for catastrophic consequences when aviation mishaps intersect with suburban neighborhoods. Local investigators continue to work, ensuring accountability while community leaders urge renewed safety measures to prevent future tragedies in populated areas.
Pyongyang. In a stunning turn of events, North Korea has launched a full-scale investigation following the disastrous failed launch of its second naval destroyer. Supreme Leader Kim Jong Un expressed severe anger over the mishap, citing criminal negligence as the cause of this setback. The government intends to arrest everyone deemed responsible for what it describes as an unpardonable criminal act. Satellite imagery from the launch site clearly shows the 5,000-ton destroyer lying on its side and partially submerged, covered by blue tarpaulins. While state media insists the vessel sustained only superficial scratches on the starboard hull and minor seawater intrusion into the stern, External experts remain skeptical. Analysts believe the damage could be much more serious, potentially involving flooding in the engine room and significant hull breaches that would require extensive repairs far exceeding the optimistic 10-day timeline announced by officials. The incident unfolded during a launch ceremony at the port of Pyongyang when a transport cradle attached to the ship's stern detached prematurely. This unexpected failure has sent shockwaves through the military establishment. Professor Moon Kun-sik of Hanyang University pointed out that the workers might lack the necessary experience in launching a warship of this magnitude. Launching a destroyer sideways, a method previously used only for cargo and passenger vessels, appears to have miscalculated the stability challenges posed by the warship's heavy armaments. This failure is an embarrassing follow-up to the recent debut of North Korea's first destroyer, which was hailed as a breakthrough in modernizing their naval capabilities against US-led threats. In response, Kim Jong Un has ordered immediate repairs and a strict internal investigation. Senior officials, including Chungjin shipyard manager Hong Kil-ho, have been summoned for questioning. The ongoing probe is expected to have long-lasting implications for our defense science sector, where political accountability now overshadows technical expertise.
That's a wrap for this week's coverage. Stay informed by clicking the subscribe button for more updates. Thank you for watching. This is World Bulletin by VNC Broadcast, signing off. Good night.